it's Margot, and today I'm going to share one of the most unsettling Christmas creepypastas I've ever read, Millie Muffintop. If you're ready to get spooked and spine tingled, keep watching. I've always hated Christmas. Not as a holiday, don't get me wrong. It's just the stress of rushing around to pick up gifts on some of the busiest days of the year. When my daughter Emily was 7 years old, she was at the doll phase. That Christmas, my wife had just died in a car accident. I wasn't myself that year. I refused to take time off work. My little girl needed comfort then more than ever, and I had to save up the money to give her the best gift I could afford. I realize now that I should have invested my time in her, not my job. My wife's parents were willing to look after her while I worked, but from their cold stares I could tell that they disapproved of my overtime. I went out to the biggest toy store in town, all the boxed toys lined in rows on shelves, taunting myself and all the other eager parents outside the shop windows. I was near the end of the queue when the doors opened, and even after I finally got inside, most of the gifts had been snapped up from the shelves, except for the shelves near the back of the shop. Super Soakers and action figures lined those shelves, except for the far left, where there were 5 boxes marked with Millie Muffintop in bubble text across the front. I picked one up. There was no clear plastic, so I had no way of seeing the contents of the box. The name seemed to give the impression that the toys were a copy of the popular strawberry shortcake toys that my daughter liked. I bought the doll and went to pick up Emily. I knocked on the door of my in-laws' house and was greeted by the dull expression of my late wife's mother. We exchanged small talk before I drove Emily back home. That night, while Emily was on the couch watching TV, I went into her room and carefully opened the doll's box, intending to place it on her bed. When I saw the doll, non-existent eyes greeted me, hollow sockets where the eyes would have been. I inspected the doll further, and I soon realized that the eyes were not the worst aspect of the doll, by far. Beneath the clothing lay a mass of slowly decomposing flesh, accompanied by an odor I could barely stomach. The toy was made from the skin of what seemed to be a small child. Crude stitching laced the sides of the doll. I threw the doll across the room. It hit the floor with a thud, much heavier than I would have expected. I came to a horrifying conclusion. There was something inside the doll. I ran downstairs to get a knife, to cut the horrid thing open. My curiosity had gotten the better of me, and I needed to see the doll's contents. "Daddy, what's wrong?" inquired my daughter in a worried tone. "Nothing, sweetie. Just stay there and watch TV, okay?" I grabbed the knife and crept back up the staircase. As I opened the door to Emily's room, the doll lay where I had left it. Thank God. I shoved the knife into the side of the doll and pulled downwards, ripping it open. I pulled out a small box. I shook it, hearing multiple things moving around inside. I found an opening and I widened it with my knife. I sat there frozen. Inside was a picture of a baby. If I had to guess, I would say she was about 4 months old. She lay limp on a messy floor. I clasped my hand to my mouth, seeing the red pool around the child. I removed the picture and vomited into my hands upon seeing the proof that this was not some sick joke. 2 small eyeballs. They sat above the final item from the box, some form of receipt. I soon realized it was the kind of note that usually came with these kinds of dolls, like a certificate of authenticity. It read, "Hi, I'm Millie Muffintop. Thank you for adopting me as your new little baby girl. I promise to be the best sister ever. MM, Season 1, Number 43. That's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this story and will come back for more. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and bring your friends, family, COVID pod, cult members, invisible friends, or enemies. And if you have a favorite creepy holiday story, tell us about it in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.